when you find out you can truly have value in the world, when you have your mission, when you have your value proposition, as they like to say in business, when you have that nailed down, it can really mean all the difference in the world in the success of your business or your venture, whatever you want to do. On this episode, we're going to talk with Michele Johnson, how she was able to turn tragedy into triumph on this episode of BootcampMD. Hey guys, this is Dr. Michael Ming. Welcome to another episode of BootcampMD. Got a real treat here, folks. On the call today, we've got Michele Johnson. And Michele Johnson is a certified family medicine physician assistant. She actually is also a telemedicine provider, and she's a speaker in fibromyalgia and a fibromyalgia patient herself for the last 18 years. And I got to meet her because she was actually one of our attendees in our BootcampMD programs that we've done, and we'll talk about her experiences. But I really wanted you to get kind of an insight on an entrepreneur who's up and coming. And she's recently released a new book. It's called Pain Free: How to Live a Full Life Despite Chronic Pain. And it focuses on inspiring, motivating, and healing chronic pain and invisible illness through holistic health practices. And her mission is to help others to live a full and thriving life despite the devastating diagnosis. You may have seen her. She's been on the Biocentric Life podcast, Thriving Outside the Box. She's been on Sirius XM Radio. And her passion is to help other chronic pain warriors live to their fullest potential, which shines through every time she speaks. So, Michele, how are we today?
Hey. I'm doing awesome, Dr. Mike. So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, just kind of before we recorded, she was actually doing some dancing during the podcast, which I think is a BootcampMD podcast first. But so that was very entertaining for myself. For those who are listening, sorry you can't see that, but really good dancing. Spot on there. So we met a few months ago in Atlanta at our BootcampMD conference, and what really kind of stood out for me is, sometimes when you're speaking, I've done a lot of speaking events, and people are just there to get the information. Mm-hmm. They go in and then they leave. And, we see that a lot in like CME conferences, we just go in and we get and we need to go. But, what's great about a conference is you do meet like-minded medical professionals. And
absolutely.
What stood out for me with Michele is just her enthusiasm and her positivity, which really kind of shine through. So I want to commend you for just that. And after talking for a while, I realized this is authentic. This is true. And then when I realized that you have this, you're dealing with these chronic pain issues, which is like kind of blew me away. So first off, thank you for coming on the call. And
absolutely.
I just want to talk about, kind of your story on what kind of led you to, talking about this. Certainly as doctors, we do have patients who do suffer through chronic pain. It can be one of the most challenging things we could do as a doctor is to treat these patients. What led you as to first writing the book and first deciding to talk about it and then deciding to write the book?
Well, you know how it is one-on-one in the exam room. A patient comes in with their chief complaint is chronic pain, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I got 20 minutes. What is this person going to talk about? Are they going to be drug seeking? What is the issue?
Oh, yeah.
And I caught myself remembering how that felt from my perspective. I saw 8 doctors before I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And, a lot of doctors still don't believe that fibromyalgia is a condition. And so some of that kind of spills over into your practice as a provider. So I would go in the room and I have to check myself and say, hey, remember how it felt to be in that person's shoes. And when you do that, people start spilling their guts. They start telling you, hey, I'm dealing with this issue, this trauma, this thing that's making my pain worse. And a lot of times I find 75% of these people I can help by a simple listening and reflecting back to them that they are heard, that somebody understands, and that there is a possibility to feel better. And so those one-on-one exam room conversations, I felt like I was having them so often that maybe there was a market out there that I could impact at a greater kind of magnitude. So I wrote the book in 6 months. It was like a fire in my belly, and the response has been tremendous. It's already an international bestseller on Amazon.
Oh,
And just,
awesome. Congratulations.
it's like, what in the world? Just from this whole idea of, hey, maybe somebody else can be impacted. That's kind of the nature of an entrepreneur. You have a message, you have a way to serve, and you decide to put it out there in the world.
That's awesome, and congratulations. And we'll put a link on the podcast in the show notes to where you can go and purchase that book. So I just want to kind of know more about your background. You're a PA, but you decided to write a book, which is really, remarkable. We kind of think in our little entrepreneurial world, this is like normal, but this isn't normal behavior generally. Did you have like mentors or entrepreneurial background that kind of led you to decide this, or authors or anything like that?
Well, listen, I have tried, I don't want to say 85 because that'd be a huge number, but at least 5 different types of businesses over my lifetime. Many of us who are entrepreneurs, you try and you fail, until you find something that you love. And for me, I was trying ways to think about freedom, like financial freedom, not having to worry about being dependent on someone for a paycheck. And in medicine, you think, well, I'll always have a job. But now we're learning more and more, like with the Amazon takeover of the prescriptions and stuff like that, that may not always be true. And so it came across to me, this is something that I actually can talk about, something that I'm passionate about. And this time it finally worked. So just like many of us out here, you're scared sometimes to try and fail, but failing over and over again really, really helped me to move forward and find out what the true purpose was. Right. So that's kind of my background in entrepreneurship.
Now, during the 6 months of writing the book, did you ever say, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm just too busy. I can't do this. It wouldn't
let me sleep.
Really? Dr.
Mike, I was waking up in the middle of the night taking notes. Like, this would be good. Oh, what about this story?
Right.
It would not let me not finish it.
Right. And it's probably, you're writing it not only for yourself, it's probably for the patients that you've treated and for the many who you've encountered that that this is not the best way to handle or the best way to be treated. So what I like to say, entrepreneur, right? It's about a call bigger than yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We all start with that why. Why are you doing this?
But you're taking it more than just the book. Tell me about the group that you're building and some other things that are coming on the pike.
Well, my expectation really was to put out a book and maybe help a few people with chronic pain and invisible illness, because that's in there too. People who walk around looking well, but they maybe have lupus or multiple sclerosis, and everybody thinks they're fine. There's an emotional component that comes with that. So my idea was, hey, put out this book, help a few people. But what started to happen was people started to contact me and say, hey, Michele, I want more. Is there a deeper dive we can do? So right now I'm formulating a 6-week course for those with chronic illness and chronic pain and invisible illness to kind of dive deeper into the subjects of the book. Because we know in medicine, it's never just about the medicine. It's never just about the procedure. And most of us feel like we don't have the time it takes to actually get to the root of a patient's problem in that 15, 20-minute visit that we get in family practice. So I'm just extending the conversation through a 6-week course. It's $97 for my first founders group, because I really want to get people in there who have chronic pain and invisible illness and really try to impact the world. Because so many of us around here are feeling like placeholders or like we're just existing because we can't do maybe what we used to do. And that just ain't it. I mean, I'm working 2 full-time jobs and writing this book. Well, I've already published a book, but making this course and being an influencer online, because even though I have daily pain and sometimes I have to crawl to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Right.
and it's possible. So that's kind of the message. And like you say, many things are just coming from it.
Well, what you're doing is what we've been teaching, and our students is, you have your niche. There's so many people, and I think too, with, you've tried all these different businesses, but, just listening to you, you probably weren't as passionate, about those other niches or those other businesses as you could be.
Right.
Like, I think for some, not all, but they get into entrepreneurship who says, oh well, I'm going to make $1 million right tomorrow.
Right.
Real estate. I'm going to do MLM, and I'm going to do all these things. But the best business to be in is something that you're truly passionate about. Some may argue about it, but if you can find a way to go into your niche and find out, like, hey, this population isn't being served.
Right.
This population isn't being served, but maybe I can make this out to be a business. But you don't go and thinking about, like, well, I'm going to profit from this business. But what the money does is it's a validation, and it's going to allow you to serve more people, right?
Absolutely.
That's what it does. And that's something that maybe you can talk about it, because there might be some listening who say, well, you know what, I feel like I might be exploiting. I'm not saying that you are, or doing that, but people say, well, people shouldn't have to pay for it. But if you truly have the solution that's truly going to make a difference, the $97 is a drop in the bucket, right? I know.
Absolutely.
Are they going to get just $97 worth of information from your course?
Absolutely not.
Right.
And that's the thing, when it comes to charging money or sales, sometimes people just have a bad taste in their mouth. They think about the slimy car salesman, right?
Right.
But really, sales is just a conversation. It's an exchange. It's an exchange of information and value. So for my time and my input and my knowledge, you would expect to get paid.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely too. And the thing is like you said, the creepy salesman, but you need to think of it as an investment.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, you could give the course for free, but when you give a free course, you know how they're going to treat it, right? They're not even going to watch it, or they're not going to listen to it.
No skin in the game.
No, yeah, it's skin in the game. You're investing in yourself, and that's the thing is, why didn't you just make this free? And I'm sure you might find a few that you like say, hey, you could benefit from this. You truly have some issue that I think you can benefit from. But for the most part, what you're paying is really a drop in the bucket. But what the money allows you to do, it allows you to grow your empire further. You can increase your reach. You can pay for more advertising.
Exactly.
Those kinds of different things that you're doing. So this is your first book.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Did you have any type of framework? Did you follow any type of course? Or did you just go run for hard and I'm just going to write and see where it goes?
So when I first kind of started writing the book, you know how things just get attracted to you to help when you're on the right path. So this course actually came up and I decided to invest in myself to get some help. And it was self-publishing school.
Mm-hmm.
They have a mastermind group of other authors who are going after publishing their first book and mentorship. And so throughout the process, I did receive, hey, Michele, maybe you should tweak this, or, maybe you should talk about this, and this will reach your audience and serve them better. And so that was really, really helpful. Of course, hiring an editor was really, really helpful. My editor actually happened to be a chronic pain sufferer. And so she really received value from the book and helped me to word things that would be more appropriate for my audience. So I think anytime that you're trying to embark on something new, it's valuable to get help. Just like BootcampMD really, really was helpful for me. I was invited by a doc. I was the only PA there, only non-MD there, but
Okay, there was one more, but she didn't talk
really?
about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I was the only one. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I felt so welcomed and in a group of like-minded people that I ended up leaving with a coach. So Dr. Maisha is now my coach.
That's awesome.
And, sometimes you just got to get in a room with people who have ideas like you have. And BootcampMD did that for me.
And what I like what you said there is you've had a mentor, and you've had you've had that. And there are so many, I ran across some docs that's like, well, I'm just going to figure it out on my own. And, maybe it's that mentality. Maybe it's like, we're often the ones who have the solution for it. But yeah, you might be able to work it on YouTube, but you might be to, look up something on there. But what's going to get you, if you truly have a good mentor, you truly have a good coach, it gives you accountability. But
yes,
how much longer do you think it would have taken you to write that book if you didn't have those resources available?
Man, people have been sitting around for 20 years on a book.
This person right here.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
Did you say 15 years in
15
the
years it took
position?
me to write that book. Right.
Right. So when you
Right.
have help, you get there sooner, quicker, faster.
All right. And it's not that I didn't have mentors. I certainly did. It wasn't my writing a
Priority.
book at that time. It wasn't my priority on there. But if you do have a problem, whether it be you want to create more online courses, find an online course coach, or you want to do more consulting, you can find a consulting coach. If you want to build websites and sell websites, there's a program for that. So what it does, it just shortens the time, right?
Yes.
We're only here for a short period of time. It's like, you don't need to spend 15 years writing your next book. Go out and find somebody who did that, and they're available.
Right.
It's
Plentiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you could speak more about that, in terms of mentorship.
As far as finding mentorship.
Yeah.
So listen, the investment for going after mentorship, just like when you were in school. I don't know if they hook you guys up with a buddy in residency or someone ahead of you. But for me, when I was at Duke, they had the second year people help out as a buddy to kind of let you know the tips and tricks around things. Now, that wasn't a paid thing, but I found out how helpful it was. And that made me think everything I do, it might be helpful to talk to somebody who's done it before. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Right. And so if I needed help with my book, I got help. I invested in myself. And it was really, really good to hear someone who's walked that path, so I don't make the stupid mistakes is what I call them. The ones that if someone had just told you, or you had just asked a question, that it could have been avoided. And a lot of times our mistakes cost us more money than if we hadn't invested in a person who knew what to do first. Anyway.
For sure. 100% on that. And then lastly, you came to BootcampMD. You're a little unsure like what's going on. The doctor invited you. But you've been writing me, and it wasn't prompted. You just told me how much your life was changed from attending, which just warmed my heart. But I don't think you're just saying that just to say it. What did you learn from BootcampMD?
First of all, I don't know that I've ever been in a conference or a situation where there was so much value given in 2 days. So the speakers were really good about, hey, this is how I did it. This is the stuff that gets stuck for most entrepreneurs, the marketing piece, the sales piece, the how do you create multiple streams of income from one content piece. And so the volume of information, I think, was huge. But even more than that was the connections I made.
Right.
Because Dr. Nana had invited me. She used to be my coach.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And this was her first speaking engagement.
Right.
So to have someone who you've mentored come and be a support to you is a big deal for her. And I felt the reciprocation from everyone in the room. I exchanged numbers and information with people we still keep in contact. And that way, when things come up like, hey, I need someone to talk on my podcast. I know you have this area of expertise. There you go with that reciprocal help just from being in the room with like-minded people. Right. So it changed me from the content, but even more than that, it changed me from the relationships built.
Right. And you'll have those lifelong, I can imagine. And what is next for Michele here? What's next? What's the next path we're going to go to? Growing the group? You got the course?
We're growing the group. I want to make it really just for chronic pain and invisible illness sufferers. So none of my like supporter or friends are going to be in there. It's going to be for people that I can serve. It's at Pain Free PA is my Facebook page. And I go live every day and we talk about principles from the book that maybe can touch someone's life. So what's next for me is actually I am leaving my full-time position in a couple of months because I really want to pursue this mission full-time. So I'm getting out here, I'm speaking to groups, I am doing podcast interviews and radio interviews to get the pain-free PA movement out there, because I really think that we can impact people's lives for the better, and it doesn't feel like work to me. And so that is a huge blessing and gift. And so I want to just use that assignment on my life.
That's awesome too. And you said something that, we kind of take for granted, but you just started this, you just had an idea and you started this, and now you're getting on radio, you're getting connections, this is going worldwide, girlfriend.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. But look at it. But you're on your computer, on your little headphones, right? You're not going anywhere. You might be in your pajamas, like myself, but we're not gonna share some info here. But we're just doing this. We're just talking, right? We're just being authentic. And the one thing that I want to do is I did take a listen to some of your daily recordings, daily recordings you do. Really powerful stuff, and you get real. It can be raw there. I mean, and that's what I hope you guys are seeing. Maybe you're not. If you're just seeing this, you're just listening. There really is authenticity to this. It's just you honestly care, and I think it really shines through.
Well, thank you. I think as entrepreneurs, when you find a problem that you solve, it's important to show up as you.
Right.
Because if you don't show up as the real you, then you're going to be miserable. Yeah. It's not meant for us to be plastic. And some of the things we're taught as medical professionals is you're the professional, right? So you have on that professional face.
On the pedestal, right?
Right. And people can't identify or relate to that. People know and can touch and feel the authentic you, then you can change somebody's life.
Right. And not to denigrate or form opinions on people who are in regular training, but let's be realistic. You're going to reach more people than you did one-on-one, seeing them on a daily, and you're going to get more fulfilled. I mean, you hear in your voice how fulfilling this is for you, and how you're looking forward to leaving your position, because that's true, that you are going to reach a lot more people than you even could imagine.
I feel like just pinching myself, because to me, especially after you go through all these different entrepreneurial ventures, it's like, is this really happening? Like, people are really vibing on this. Yeah. And that just shows that there was a need.
There is a need that hasn't been fulfilled, and you're fulfilling it. So, Michele, this has been amazing. Where can they go and find out more information? You're dancing again if you want to sing on the podcast.
I'm a mover and dancer. You just dance between exam rooms.
Oh, yeah.
So you can find me at The Pain Free PA, and that's on Facebook. The Pain Free PA on Instagram with underscores between each of the words. Mm-hmm. You can contact me at contact@thepainfreepa.com or jump on my website, www.thepainfreepa.com. Man, the book is like $10, very low entry point. Get 6 of them for your friends. Mm-hmm. It's available on Amazon. Please, if you have any value from the book, leave me a review. It's called Pain Free: How to Live a Full Life Despite Chronic Pain.
Awesome. And if you're a doctor, go ahead and purchase it for yourself. And if this is something that, you feel like you could share, buy a bunch for your patients, right?
Yes.
These days we only get 10 or 15 minutes, and you hear someone who's a medical professional who lives through this, and you learn some strategies and techniques and how she's able to cope with that. So, Michele, you're amazing. You are a star in the rise. I look forward to seeing you. We've got BootcampMD. I got to do my little plug here. Bootcamp MD is
Yes.
coming in June of 2020. I don't know the dates off the top of my head. It's going to be in Austin. If you're a listener to the podcast, we'll send you more information once we have that and when we're going to be having tickets for that. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for sharing your message with our audience.
Thank
And
you.
I hope for the people listening, you find that inspirational because, you know, if you have a message and that needs to get out, you've got an opportunity to have a megaphone to share that message and to provide something of value to your audiences. So thank you again for coming on and keep, fighting the fight and keep moving forward, like I always say.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mike. I can't wait to see y'all all at BootcampMD 3.
All right. Thanks again, guys. And thank you for listening.